LTT store, blank t-shirt. Let's do it. Welcome back. In this series, we answer your fashion questions. Let's get into it. JFP8 on YouTube writes, at some point, I think you said there are higher and lower grades of polyester. What makes some polyester better than others? How can you tell? When you are looking at the quality of a fabric, it really comes down to the yarn. And when we look at that yarn, how is that yarn made up? When you are using polyester as a kind of like bulking agent to cheapen the quality or the cost of your clothing, oftentimes you'll see it blended with cotton. That's chopped polyester. And what they do is they take the yarns and filaments and they chop them up and they mix it in with the cotton to then spin into yarn. On the flip side, you have continuous fiber. And the way those are made is they're extruded basically into filaments, and you combine multiple filaments. It can be either textured, it can be straight. The shape of the filament matters because if the filament is round, it's going to be more shiny. But if you have filaments that are actually kind of like slightly indented, it won't be as shiny. There's crazy amount of technology when it comes to the technical side of polyester. But for the most part, when you are looking at a garment that has cotton mixed with polyester, especially if it's blended in, it's often done to make the garment cheaper. Jamie on TikTok writes, why are the pads in women's bras and swimsuits not sewn in? It is a massive task to find and put the pads back in after every laundry. So I hear your frustration. We're actually dealing with this topic with one of our clients right now. We do a lot of sports bras here at Shift and a lot of swimwear. When it comes to bust pads themselves, first, they're removable because not every user actually wants to use the bust pads, and some users will actually just take them out. Secondary is about fit. When you sew in a cup or use a molded cup, you're now stiffening the bra, and it's going to change the silhouette because not every single person is going to have the same cup size, even if they have the same circumference of their chest. So when you are going down the path of molded cups and sewn in cups, you're now having to offer significantly more inventory options to accommodate all those cup sizes versus a removable pad, which people can actually change and put in pads from other bras that are more comfortable for them, that conform to the body a little bit more. Going down that route, you're really entering a massive inventory nightmare that not a lot of brands, unless they're at a large scale, can actually even afford to do. One thing we are now discussing with one of our clients is decreasing the area which the bust pad is sewn into to stop the rotation a bit. That is going to increase manufacturing costs because it takes longer to put the bust pad in, but that's kind of the reason why bust pads are removable and the reason why not a lot of brands, unless they're really big, offer a lot of molded cups or sewn in bust pads. Element Superstar on YouTube writes, any recommendations of particular fabrics that are good for people with oily skin / acne? I noticed that synthetic fabrics like polyester are particularly bad for my skin. So the reason why polyesters are especially bad for acne is polyester is oleophilic, meaning it absorbs oil. But once that fabric is saturated with oil, there's nowhere else for that oil to go except for sitting on your skin. But I think I have somebody else that could probably better answer this question.
Hi.
This user basically has an issue with acne. Jess has a former history in medical skincare. So what would you suggest for this user?
One great option to go with is to start using a natural fiber like a cotton t-shirt instead of a synthetic t-shirt. But also look at how you wash the garments, like what type of detergent you use.
I do think that actually that makes sense. So I think cottons and probably like linen, which would be flax, probably work really well for acne because it absorbs moisture. And when you remove moisture, you remove a place for bacteria to breed, which causes acne.
Some just basic good tips to keep in mind is if you're sweating, like you're at the gym or you're doing errands and you feel like your back's getting sweaty, switch out your shirt. You don't want that sweat to sit on your skin for a long period of time because that's how bacteria is going to start growing.
I think also on the detergent front, I think using a fragrance-free detergent probably would make a difference.
Yeah.
The pH, the hardness of your water is going to make a difference. If you have harder water that leaves a lot of mineral deposits on your fabric, that's going to make the fabric less breathable, less absorbent for moisture. That probably promotes acne.
And just basic cleansing the skin. You want to make sure that when you're taking a shower, you're rinsing all the soap off your body, and the soap is good for your type of skin.
So that actually makes it what do you mean by rinsing all the soap off your body? Is that actually a big factor of it?
Well, sometimes soap can leave like a residue on your skin, and what you want to make sure is that you're not leaving anything on your skin, allowing your skin as an organ to breathe.
The more you know. I learned something new today. Hippo Cheese 14 on YouTube writes, I would love if you analyze LTT Store's blank t-shirt. Should we do a YouTuber roundup? Let us know in the comments, because that's something I would be down to do. MKABT on YouTube writes, can you tell more about Japanese selvage denim? There is a whole world to dive into selvage denim where it really gets to the point where it can get very artisanal. I think for us to do a video on that, maybe we'll plan like a trip to Japan one day and we can interview the artisans that are actually creating these ones. And I've seen videos on indigo dyed denim that the guy's hands are blue because he's been doing it for so many years. Let us know, and maybe down the road, this is something we can dive into deeper. Rizal Sourcing on YouTube writes, one trend that keeps coming up is how AI and data analytics are changing sourcing and production decisions. We are already seeing this impact how brands choose their suppliers and manage inventory. Do you think traditional sourcing methods will soon be replaced by full automated forecasting? So I think AI is going to change every single industry that it touches. You look at a lot of agent AIs. I think the process of going on Alibaba and searching for things, that can be totally automated with AI through an agent model. Where I think it falls short is in the relationship building aspect of sourcing. I know with Alibaba, it's made it seem like you just click order and it shows up. But a lot of it is building those relationships, shaking hands, understanding who are you doing business with. So not if something goes wrong, because it's fashion, something will always go wrong. But when something does go wrong, how strong is that relationship to ensure that you get a positive result as the buyer ultimately? Vicevs on YouTube writes, just found your channel and I appreciate how knowledgeable, articulate, and straight to the point you are. Thank you. That being said, damn, anyone see all those Slack channels at the end? How do you manage that, Joe? We have a lot of Slack channels. A lot of them are dedicated for the styles we're working on. I think this year we're probably doing 400 to 500 styles. I think we're pretty much closed for this year, to be honest. But I'm not the only one here at the company. We have our media team behind the camera and behind me. We have designers, we have product developers, we have sourcing people, marketing. We have a team that stays quite busy, and Slack is just one of the tools that we use to manage all that. Nerdification on YouTube writes, audiophiles use corded headphones and portable hi-fi music players. This would work well. I think my comments on that Costco video just won't die. I have two people here actually in our media that have masters in music and music technology. So do you guys use corded headphones and portable hi-fi music players? No. So there you go. Drew on YouTube writes, hi Joe. Any guidance for beginners who want to pursue a career in the fashion industry? I just started my clothing brand and I want to learn everything about the industry just like you do. What should I do? When it comes to companies like ours in LA, I'm sure there's other sourcing companies, but I don't know if there's a full kind of like turnkey end-to-end solution like what we do here at Shift. But there's a lot of garment factories in LA. I think if you really want to become a master of your craft, you really need to understand every single part of the brand building and fashion building business, because it equips you with a lot more tools to make the proper decisions you need to make for your brand. I would head out to fabric suppliers and chat with them, learn about why do they bring in what fabrics that they bring in for the markets that they are servicing. Go to the garment factories and chat with them and maybe intern with them to see, hey, what are they producing these days? What are the hot items? And what are the skills and techniques and finishings that I need to learn so that I can be better equipped to place these things onto my branded products? There's also gonna be a lot of brands in LA, hundreds, if not thousands, that you could possibly intern to understand the marketing decisions that they make to service their customers. Overall, if you are in the US and you want to be in fashion, LA is a perfect place to be. You just need to start looking around. You asked us a lot on our questions, and I think that persistence is going to be a great way to break into the industry. And when it comes to learning itself, YouTube is a great resource. There's a lot of places that you can learn for free these days, and that's what we're doing here. We're trying to provide a lot of information for free for people to better educate themselves. But there's a lot of other fashion creators that are doing the same thing that you can also learn from as well. If you do all that and you give it time, you'll equip yourself with all the tools you need to make your own waves in the industry. Crafty Mama on YouTube writes, do you do any testing for environmental contaminants, PFAS, that garments may release when produced/washed, etc.? I've always been wary of any garments that's moisture wicking or waterproof. PFAS is a very hot topic right now, especially with the name Forever Chemicals. And where you are going to find PFAS is a lot of water repellent coatings. I know this is a big issue in the past few years when it came to period underwear, because they had a liner in there that would keep it liquid tight, and that contained PFAS in a very sensitive area. What I would say is, when it comes to PFAS, is don't confuse polyester fabrics and sportswear fabrics that are sweat wicking with PFAS. PFAS is strictly for water repellency and creating a slippery surface. There's actually different types of water repellent coatings. From my understanding, when I'm speaking to my suppliers about this, is C4, C6, and C8 coatings would often have PFAS in it, and that refers to the carbon chains. There's actually new water repellent coatings these days, which are under C0, which don't have PFAS. That being said, that does not mean your clothing doesn't come into contact with it at some point. You look at the ability to have a very slippery surface. There's a lot of functionality in that, in the garment manufacturing process, where it could entirely come in contact with PFAS chemicals. But again, if there's a water repellent coating, there may be PFAS in there. However, if there is no water repellent coating, there may be trace amounts, but there wasn't a deliberate decision to add it. When it comes to testing for these, there are third-party companies. We use a company called SGS. There's TUV in Europe as well that can do this testing. But it's kind of like putting a gluten-free label on an apple. Again, if it's not designed to be waterproof, it just won't be there. So that is it for this week of FAQ. Please like, comment, subscribe. We just hit 100K subs. Like, how awesome is that? Of 100,000 people that are very interested in buying better quality clothes. Never in my life did I think this would be where we're at with this journey. So thank you so much. Leave your questions down in the comments, because a lot of our content is dictated by you guys. Let us know what brands you want us to review. Be sure to follow us on socials, and until next time. So here we are. The team took apart the rest of the jacket. Let's take a look at it. Art Attack style. Oh, that's like...